Morning all. Morning. Morning to Lynette Harris, Daniela Williams. Morning, Rhonda Joseph. Morning to you, Danae Marie Williams. Morning, Terrence Swan. Morning, sir. Ruben Rogers. Morning, Arlene Lewis. Good morning to you. Rookman. Morning, Rookman. Will Durant. Morning, Doreen Harry. Morning. Morning, Roxanne. Happy Carnival to you. Hey, Roxanne, they seem to have fixed it. I get back my brooms. Thank you so much. Althea, morning. Cyril Mias, morning. Caroline Crossley, good morning to you. Glenn Richardson, Neil Francois, always present. Morning, sir. Shah, morning. Kathleen Key, morning. Deborah Duranti, morning. Deborah Allison Rogers, Glenn Richardson, Sharon Williams, morning. Patriot, morning to you. Natalie F. Morning, Natalie. Leon Graves, Dave Robin, morning, guys. Ria Ed, morning. Dwayne Peters, morning, sir. Janice McCauley, morning. See you all on Facebook. Shamin Bernard, morning. Rosemary Headley, morning. Good morning to His Excellency Nigel O'Connor, President of Pleasantville, and Marcia Keegan, First Lady. Marcia celebrated her birthday with her twin a couple of days ago. So again, birthday greetings to them, because you know it's no longer a birthday, but it's a birth month. Some people celebrating for the whole month and so on. Ashlyn Robertson, morning. Dawn Khan, morning to you. Morning, Diane. Istra Blake, morning. Emmeline Harvey, morning. D. Pierre, morning. Alison Boyce, Claudette Jeffrey, morning to you. Charmaine Bernard. Marva James, morning, guys. Sarah Richards, Dexter James, morning. Philomena Collins, morning. Morning, Carol. Yes, Carol, it's hot and sunny today. I'm sure I don't have any rain by you. Only dust. Sahara dust. Morning, Phyllis. Gemma Alexander, morning. Maureen Tull. Angela Sobers, morning. Jennifer Dorset. Ruth Frumton, morning to you. Deborah. Alicia Armande Rocher, morning. Denise Cummings, morning to all of you guys. So let me see. Right, so we are in the final stretch for Carnival 2024. So 2 more days and then it's all done. Angela Marcel Figaro, morning. Angela Maynard Lazare, morning to you. Daniel Knight, morning, sir. See you reach, nice. Let's see who else we got here this morning. Right, we got this here.
Enough of them that I went back to Paria to rock back and retire. But tell them me ain't joking. People was soaking. For all who still going haywire, I had to resurrect the poor. Come me ain't joking. Oh no, people was soaking. Some Mr. Pretty boy lawyer for San Fernando. Not because they reach out for you, means we forget. All this shadiness with you while you was behind the cages. And it's far too much you answer yet. I've turned on the links for trying to bamboozle we with all them legal gymnastics. Yes, you're the king links, relics, and let's listen. Well, let me tell you clearly why you can't escape this. When the rampart AG hits with section 34, I recall your voice as one of the loudest in uproar. So how come when you do your own encore with double G and paragraph 4, you and your body said crew and that just ignored all your power, licks, relics, that deserve licks. You and your sycophant hypocrites could bet some more to add to the list. Me a finish. What about the Christian lawyer and he Bandilero posse? With the COVID curfew party on board, he not guilty. What's illegal gun and ammunition? That's the police holding the woman. But you find them a break no laws or regulation. Well, yeah, man. Licks all in your craw. Seems all you have big shots, law. Different from the law for the poor. You deserve more. Licks. I've turned load of licks. Seems you figure you could bless my way. Stupidness. I'm gonna be pelting blood, springing blood, sharing blood, springing blood. From your head straight down to your toes. Like so hard to beat off both clothes. It's blood, physical blood, lyrical blood, eyes of blood. Your funny tricks will get exposed in the land with the return of the bomb. Oh Lord, woman in the road, coming on. Send them smart man to me, bring them by the million. Woman in the road, coming on. Because I lay low for a while, some of them feel it's a friggin' poppy show. But tell them me a joking, the war was soaking. 10 years ago, I warned them a fighting for this guy I love Trinidad. Remind them me a joking, oh no, the war was soaking. That's why I fed up by you, Rico's gangsta granny. You refuse to put country before party, before you resign. So you and your hussy could play nanny. You reciting Trinidad lyrics like your name Princess Swanee. So you get in licks, licks. After a load of licks, since you want to teach the public how to load matic and empty clip. Take stick licks, licks, and let's licks. Well, let me tell you, lady, why you can't escape this. Your failure as we first female prime minister. But your tenure was corrupted and sinister. You do a disservice to all women, cause child marriage you never condemn, and human sex traffickers in your party you defend. You wicked old handlings, relics, handless licks, since your party overrun with pimps, bandits, and rapists. All this licks, relics, after load of licks, it a plenty more crookedness. Me a finish. A criminal kleptocracy is what you lead in. Racism and hypocrisy you overseeing. You totally unfit for purpose. Wrong with it like an albatross. And about a million election in a row you done lost. You ain't seen the cross. Licks, relics, headless licks. Only mama die and gimmicks. Don't leave them wrong soft lips. You get him licks, relics. After load of licks. Since you insist to have no morals or ethics. I'm gonna be pelting blood, springing blood, sharing blood, springing blood. From your back straight to your front. Thanks for what to bless you. Blood, mystical blood, lyrical blood, eyes of blood. Your worthlessness can no longer stand with the return of the woman. Oh no, woman in the road. Woman in the road, coming down. I said, go bring them demon for me. Bring them my billion. Woman in the road. Woman in the road, coming down. Yes.
Yes, folks. So that's of course Mr. Shaq there. The return. Unfortunately, he's not in the savannah this evening. There are people I saw who think that the judges should get some voix for that, for him not being in the finals. But again, there are rules, as you all are aware, and that are separate and apart from the judges, right? The judges play no role with respect if there are any penalties to be that has to be applied. What the judges do, they give us the score sheet, we mark, and we hand it up. What happens after that? You may be aware that Mr. Shaq would have some goals twice, I think. And I don't know, as I said, I don't know what it's a good sign, right? And there are those who felt that he should have been in the finals, but he's not. So it is what it is. After a hiatus, he is back, and I'm sure he will come back next year, pelting more bois, and we'll see what can happen. So congratulations goes out, of course, to the winners of the National Panorama last night. There was a tie. between All Stars and Renegade. So let me say also congratulations to Stuart Young. I know that's his band, and that's one of the things you have to commend Mr. Young for. That let me get this here. He was around, and he's a real people person in that throughout the course of it, he was there pushing pushing Pan, and he stayed true to it. That's his band. He's supporting. He's been there night after night, giving them that support, notwithstanding his busy schedule. And he's been doing it for both the senior band and the junior bands, because I saw him pushing Pan as well for several for the school bands as well. He was most present. There are those who say maybe he's should I go? No, I ain't going down that road. But anyway, in due course. But anyhow, congratulations again to the winners. I mean, I am a fan, but I listened to all 11 bands last night, and I must say I was particularly impressed with the winners, of course. But I thought Silver Stars would have come in at a much higher place. Silver Stars, to me, did very well. They are, of course, former winners. So, let me see something here. But I know there was a still last night when those results were announced. There are some people who say the judges' teeth and all kind of thing, and they wanted their band. All 11 bands would have had their supporters there last night. So you're bound to have people who would have been upset. So you have BP Renegades and Massey All Stars trying for first, Republic Bank Exodus coming in third. But the points were close. 285, the winners 283, third place. Then you had Proman Starlift. They were very good as well. Pan in A minor. 280 coming in fourth. Despa's Steel Orchestra. They too played DNA. Coming in fourth as well, tying for fourth, 280. Shell Invaders. I found Invaders was extremely good as well. But I ain't no pan judge, so anyway. Free Up, they came in sixth with 278.5 points. Nutrient Silver Stars came in seventh with 277.5 points. Tech Tropical Angel Harps also played DNA, came in eighth with 277. First Citizen Supernovas, they also impressed. Came in ninth at 276, because I recall when they were playing, and I was looking at it on Facebook, the comments persons were really, really surprised. Because they were the dark horse. People were saying in the comments that they expected Supernovas to come in last. But surprise, surprise, Phase 2 Pangroove, Hardcore Phase 2 Pangroove came in last. Well, I don't let me say last. 11th, 274 points. And of course, 10th, NLCB Fonclair Steel Orchestra, 275. So congratulations to all the finalists, and in particular, of course, the winners. I don't know if we look forward to hearing them on the road on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. So, yeah, mixed results, mixed reviews there. But I know I probably have persons here who support all the bands. So, yeah, but I would say Proman was good, and I would have had. There's just me, Silver Stars, probably in the top 4 or so, because they impressed. But yeah. So just one thing left now, which is tonight. Well, 2 things, but tonight the Calypso Monarch, the Mashgra. So that is the next heated contest. Persons are waiting to see if Double M will be able to pull it off. We don't have any of the veterans in tonight's final, so all the normal veterans like Aloes and Kroko and Chalk Dust and all of these persons, save and except for Gypsy, we don't really have those veterans. Perhaps some of them have moved on, I don't know, but we will see how that goes tonight. So all eyes would be glued on televisions, and those who are going down to the Savannah. We also have King and Queen's finals tonight as well. So we will see how that goes. I know who I have as my favorite, but I would keep that reserved. So we will see. Yes, and then of course Monday and Tuesday, Reign of the Merry Monarch. We'll see who will win Band of the Year. They say more or less the same thing. So yeah. So anyhow, yes, I wonder if we will see any videos cropping up this year of a certain UNC senator at the Savannah, not knowing himself, right? And people calling his name about 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times before he realized who that is he they were calling, right? Anel, Anel, Anel. Hey, how you going? Yeah, man, how you going? How you going? Drunk, like I don't know what, right? Don't even know how you reached the Savannah and you don't know how you left. But he's a senator, we must call that honorable. That is the example. But all over your Facebook page every day is Rowley, Rowley, Rowley. I hate Rowley. Rowley's the worst, Rowley this. I don't know what Dr. Rowley do. He vexed because Dr. Rowley not taking him out. All the nastiness that he's saying about Dr. Rowley, about his wife and all them kind of thing. And the other day when Dr. Rowley said, leave him right there. And they want to know why I'm not suing him. Because I want him to stay right there and continue what he's doing. So that all the right-thinking citizens, those who are considered to be on the fences, the people who vote based on issues, who would be repulsed by that type of behavior and the whole idea or the thought of having this man as a minister of government again, if you weren't inclined to go and vote, come 2025, you would have a lot of people voting because of him. He and Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, the PNM's two biggest assets come 2025. So let him continue. We'll see how that goes. And I'm not even going to play the latest filth that he would have put up yesterday. Yeah? But suffice it to say, I chose to play Mr. Shaq because I saw he did a live, Roberts that is, claiming that, Mr. Shaq didn't talk about too much things he could have talked about. He vexed because of the verse about the Grey Goose Granny. Right? And Shaq can talk about the Nelson Gate thing, but the very first verse that the man sang about Paris Al-Rawi, that's what he was referring to. The issue with Vincent Nelson and the indemnity issue and all of that, that's what he was touching on. And of course, he made a reference to PNM sycophants in his very first verse. So, was the issue, is everybody get touched? He touched the PNM, touched UNC, and he touched those two fellas in Tobago who say don't know the assembly from the elbow to everybody passing the rush. So come on. But anyhow, moving right along. So I'm not really going to comment on too much on tonight's Calypso. I'm not judging tonight, but still. There is, of course, the issue of persons who are upset because Gypsy is in the finals and find that because he is the chairman of NCC that he should not be there because of the perception that perhaps if he wins that he may have been able to exercise some level of influence on the judges. I can give you the assurance that that cannot happen. Right? At least the judges cannot be influenced in any way. And I'm speaking firsthand here. When you get your score sheets, you do what it is that you have. Nobody comes and tell you anything how to judge. You get a score sheet, you get your package, and you judge what you see and what you hear. Lyrics, 30 points. Melody, 30 points. You have rendition, presentation, and originality. Those are the criteria. You judge, you put your marks, and you hand up your score sheets. As soon as you finish, they come and they take it. And they go in the back, and if it is that any of the competitors has any issues, they feel they are free to come and request their score sheets and they can see what score they got. So even if there's the implication that they cheat and they doctor the scores or whatever, it's easy for you to go and check. Request your score sheets, you go into Tuco, they present you with your score sheets and you could go through everyone and see the judges' comments and what marks the judges would have given you. So if there was any gerrymandering after the score sheets went up, you would be able to see, well, okay, when I add up all of these, I'm not getting this. So there are safeguards in place to prevent that kind of bubble, as people would suggest. But I can assure you that the process is fair and very transparent. Okay, so just say. Just thought I would throw that in the mix. So Felicia Rashad, who we all know as Claire Huxtable, was in Trinidad for a few days, and she left, I understand, yesterday morning. Unfortunately, she didn't stay for the festivities Monday and Tuesday, but she would have gotten quite a bit of the Trinidad and Tobago in the short time that she was here. And they would have taken her to several fetes. I saw she went to the Carnival Sanctuary, I think, on Friday afternoon. So she did a little live, a little interview where she spoke about, how impressed she was with all that she saw. And there are persons on the other side, that other party, who seem to have an issue with the amount of attention that Ms. Rashad received. Now, this is an international celebrity. This is somebody who many of us grew up with, watching the Cosby Show in the 80s and 90s and so on, right? Mid to late 80s, early 90s. So, of course, when somebody of that caliber comes to Trinidad and Tobago, yes, it's a big deal because we need the exposure, especially when we have persons from the other side who are always inclined towards maligning the country. They're always happy when if we get a downgrade. They're happy if we get a travel advisory from the US or any other country because they figure it makes the government look bad and it will improve the political structure of their party. So that when persons ignore all of these things, persons of certain international renown come to Trinidad and Tobago and they choose to ignore all of that, they vex. You know why? Because they tell them every time, don't come here, or if you come in, make sure you put on you work with security and you have on a bulletproof vest and all kind of foolishness. Ms. Rashad was very happy to go all over the place and she felt quite safe. She didn't at one point in time think that her life was in danger any more than it would be in the country of her birth and where she lives, where last year you had probably close to 700 or more mass shootings, and she could be killed just walking out of her house. She could be killed. She could go to the mall, she could get killed. She could go to church, she could go to an open air concert, to school, anyway. She's the dean of I can't remember what it is. What was it? Can't remember what it is, but she's a dean at Howard University. In fact, she came here on the invitation of Dr. Wayne Frederick, who was the former president or the immediate past president of Howard University. He and his wife would have invited her to come here, so she came here at their behest. But that didn't stop persons from the other side, that other party, from coming on social media and making all kind of propaganda allegations, as they're accustomed doing, that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the Ministry of Tourism, paid her millions of dollars to come here to promote Carnival and to promote the government and all kind of nonsense, and they want to know how much money. And well, file a freedom of information request now. File a freedom of information request. And for those who don't know, the waterfront ilk, Dr. Wayne Frederick is a Trinidadian, right? A past student of St. Mary's College. Yes, my alma mater. In fact, Dr. Frederick has been known to be quite generous to his alma mater and donates, good money to the school. So this is nothing new on his part. And he invited her as a dean of the university, where he was recently president. He invited her to come to Trinidad and Tobago. As she said, her daughter came here last year. The daughter told her she needed to come and experience it herself. And so she decided to take up the invitation and she came. But they probably vexed because they see she moving all over the place with certain government ministers. She went to some school event and the Minister of Education was there. She went to Pantent and so on, other events, and I think the Minister of Tourism was there and so on. So they figure out, the government spend taxpayers' money to bring she here, and they have an issue. They say, I don't like to go down the race road, you all know that, right? But I wonder if it was Amitabh Bachchan they had brought it, if it is those who making an issue on that side would have had an issue with it. Last year, we had Steve Harvey's son-in-law came here, and he was brave. He was doing the same thing all over the place he was going to and promoting the carnival. He enjoyed himself, right? And that is the type of international exposure that we need to get, right? That's the type of international exposure that we need to get. but they vex about that. So they're not happy. Or when they watch the videos and the pictures, she looking harassed and she looking unhappy and so on. The woman told her she was unhappy. She didn't have to come. She could have turned on the invitation. But you all have an issue about that. Right? You all have an issue with that. Because she's going all over the place. Why? Because it shows Trinidad and Tobago in a different light. Not the light that you all want the world to see. That is only crime and crime. That's all Trinidad and Tobago has. Crime. Meanwhile, the US government is issuing travel advisories to persons traveling to Bahamas, persons traveling to Jamaica. In fact, they're advising their citizens not to go to Jamaica. Yeah, not advisories telling them to be careful. Advisories telling them not to travel to Jamaica, right? Because of home invasions, rape, murder, all manner of crimes taking place. But yet still you have cruise ship after cruise ship going to Jamaica. They don't see the Jamaicans doing what the supporters of that party doing, painting the country bad and saying all kind of nasty stuff and whatnot, right? But that's all they want to focus on. It's only crime. Nothing good happening in Trinidad and Tobago. We post up a video on the Facebook page with some foreigners coming to Trinidad for Carnival, locals who live abroad and also foreigners. You know they have a problem with that too? They complain about, there's a safety issue because on the video you see the people sit down in the seat, but they're playing, I don't know if it is the captain or whoever put on some soca music from the cockpit. So you hear any soca music playing through the audio in the plane, and the people recording and who dancing and whatnot. One or two persons got up and walked down the aisle and recording what was taking place. They have an issue with that. Oh, that is madness and this and that and who should be charged and all kind of foolishness because the people enjoying themselves. The plane landed safely, nothing happened. If the captain had an issue with it, he would have tell them, oh, but the plane designed in a certain way. And okay, you see the depths to which these people go in? You see the depths to which they go in? So you can't have some fun. People come into Trinidad, they come in to spend the US dollars, or they complaining about Forex, and we have enough Forex. The people come into Trinidad to spend foreign exchange. I went to Port of Spain yesterday. All over the place. The tourists are here enjoying themselves, enjoying the food, enjoying this, that, the other. They're all over the place. If you see, Port of Spain was a buzz yesterday. They had Junior Parade of the bands. Things for them to see. Well, they should be happy for that. But no. You know why? Because all we want to hear is how many people dead, how much murders, how much home invasion, how many this, how many that. That's all. That's all we want to talk about. But to all those people who are ignoring them, continue so to do. Let them continue to wallow in their misery. Miserable. That's what they are. But all of them who complaining, you see them Monday and Tuesday, jumping up in all kind of band. Right? You feel they're frightened. You think they're afraid they'll get robbed? They're afraid they will get killed? No. They can't wait. Every fete they hitting since Boxing Day till now. It's fete after fete, night after night they go in fete, but they're afraid. The crime situation, people ain't going out. But check them, watch their hand. They have about 10 bands. Every time they go to a fete, these bands that they put on your hand, they didn't want to take it off because they want the whole world to know that they went, look how much fete I went. Nastiness. Yeah? Take it off. But you want it on this hand and that hand. Look. Yeah, that's your trophy. Everybody watch how much because you want people to know you're fetting. But then back talking the country and all this and that. Shameless. I always say that party have no shame. All the dogs in that party suffering from malnutrition because they have no shame left to eat. Waste that time. Anyway, I wanted to play something here. Should I play that first? I'm going to play this first. But before I go there, also congratulations to Nyla Blackman on winning the first intellectual chutney soca monarch competition. She took the first prize, $450,000 last night, and this of course coming on the heels of the announcement that she signed a major record deal with an American recording label. She signed a 3-year recording and distribution contract with Philadelphia-based American music label Big Money Records, a subsidiary of industry titan Republic Records in New York, USA. And I understand that is the same record label that deals with people like Nicki Minaj and so on. Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande. So Nyla Blackman is doing big things, putting Trinidad and Tobago on the map for yet again positive things. But of course, we know those on the other side not going to big up for that. Right? No. They're not about that. We didn't talk about that. Good things happening that locals such as Nyla are going out on the international scene and promoting soca music. They have an issue with that. So you're not going to see the UNC talking about it. But anyway, there was a story last week that I wanted to touch on quickly, right? Fair after home invasion at Caribbean Glass. Businessman Aziz Ramsing, the operator of Caribbean Glass Specialists Limited in Barataria, is recovering well following a violent home invasion on Tuesday morning. Ramsing, 58, was tied up and beaten about the head and chest during the ordeal. He was eventually taken to a private hospital where he was treated and remained a patient up to 5 p.m. yesterday. His 77-year-old mother was not hurt by the bandits who left her sleeping in her bedroom. Ramsing suffered soft tissue damage and was to be examined for bone fractures and to determine if his nose was broken, police said. The incident took place around 1:45 a.m. at Ramsing's home at Eastern Main Road in Barataria, near his business place. He told police he was awoken by a noise and saw two men in his bedroom. The bandits demanded cash and other items as they beat Ramsing. The suspects left the victim in his bedroom. A short while later, Ramsing exited his bedroom, made checks and observed the other bedrooms and living room had been ransacked. Cash, jewelry, and his 3 licensed firearms missing. Cash, jewelry, and his 3 licensed firearms missing. A window was open on the north side of the building. Checks were made, and the security guard, a 40-year-old man, was found tied up. The guard said 10 minutes earlier he was at the booth on the compound when 2 men confronted him at gunpoint. Suspects then tied him up. He too was beaten about the body and relieved of cash and valuables. Right. The Express was told that workable prints were found at the scene. The incident was captured on CCTV cameras. You see here. Right. So 3 firearms were taken from Mr. Ramsey. Not 1, not 2, 3. But the leader of the opposition tells us that the solution to crime, the solution to home invasion is to give law-abiding citizens free access, easy access to firearm users licenses so that they could go and acquire their po-po, right? This household had 3 firearms. Did it help them? There are 3 legal firearms now illegal, that are out on the streets. 3 firearms that are now in the hands of criminals, right? Why did they need 3? Because I assume, I don't know, I'm assuming that based on the article here saying, demands 3, so he has 3 guns, as if he could use all 3 at the same time. I wonder under whose tenure he got those FULs with. I just speculate, and I don't know, but I realize Gary the Great hasn't commented on that. Lest question should be asked as to whether or not those FULs were issued under his tenure. Because he loved to say, no, none of the FULs that he had issued while he was commissioner of police has ever been used in a crime, blah, blah, blah. Nobody can get locked up and all kind of thing. Okay. But coming back to the leader of the opposition. Now, they ain't talk about that, right? Now, if it is that the man had been killed, if it is his wife, I don't know if he have a wife or daughter, whoever had been raped or whatever it is, they'd be singing a different tune. But they're not inclined to highlight this issue because of the fact that the 3 guns that he had, legal firearms that he had, were taken. And they said the solution to the crime scourge, the solution to the home invasion, is to make it easier for law-abiding citizens to have guns, so that when the would-be criminal comes into your home and they decide to invade your home, this is all they're talking about, while they're raping your wife and raping your daughter, you will ask them if they want some tea or some juice. Yeah? But the solution to that is to give them guns. When they raided the home of the Persads, of Persad the Food King, remember? They took 2 guns. 2 guns that were in that home. So this is 2 incidents where a home invasion took place. The homeowners had guns and it couldn't help them. Didn't help them. And the home invaders, the criminals, left the premises. Nobody died. Nobody was raped. The homeowners were beaten, as reported. 3 guns by 2 guns, it's 5 guns. But load up the matic, knock it on them, and knock it again. Did Mr. Ramsingh knock it on anybody? No. But he's now 3 guns less. So when we listen to the leader of the opposition and we give everybody firearm users licenses, right? And everybody get gun. And now the would-be criminals are aware of this. You see, it goes to show, having the gun don't mean you can get the opportunity to use it. Now, how is it that the criminals knew where to find the man guns? Because ideally, these guns are supposed to be kept safe. Because when you apply for a firearm user's license, as I understand, the police are supposed to come to your home to see where the gun would be stored to make sure that it would be safe from anybody who is not entitled to use that firearm. In this instance, the fact that the gentleman, they didn't take him and say, hey, let me go and find the gun. Where the gun? We don't know if they knew. Because the story they beat him up, left him in his bedroom, went outside, take what they wanted, ransack whatever it is they ransack, take the 3 guns, took money, cash, jewelry, whatever, left, and then he realized all of this was happening. So it means then that these 3 guns were accessible not just to the criminals, but to anybody else who were living in that house, who did not have authorization to use those guns. So he could have been sleeping in his bed and could have family members come inside the house and go and just take the guns. Yeah, let me go on the road. We're not party, let me stuck down my waist there. Just a flam now. Because he's sleeping and don't know what's taking place. And the fact that these guys were able to come into your home and take your guns says that wherever it is you keep it, it wasn't properly stored. Is it that you had it in the safe and the safe open so anybody could go in your safe and take it? You see, all these are things that we need to look at. But the whole and crime talks all over the place and wouldn't talk about these issues. And we keep making the point that giving people firearm users licenses and easy access to guns does not mean that that solves the problem. Because the majority of home invasions that have taken place have not ended in anybody getting raped, anybody getting murdered. Right? They come in, they take what they had to take, they beat up whoever they beat up, and they leave. So it tells you that not all of these guys are inclined to catch a case or a murder case, right? So if the police do catch them, they know, all right, they hold me right, for robbery, larceny, breaking and entering, probably assault, and so on. But these are minor offenses, so which is likely to get them bail. So they're not really inclined to kill anybody. So they had a gun, based on what the security guard said. Or there may be those people who will say it was an inside job and maybe these. I don't know. Let me not speculate, right? I just find it a little that they know exactly where the guns were to go and get it. But that's a story for another time. I'm not implying that anybody was involved in anything. Just say it. But I just thought I would mention that for the benefit of the leader of the opposition. That your solution is load up the matic. Give everybody gun. Once you're a law-abiding citizen. Okay? Law-abiding citizen. 3 guns, and he wasn't able to use any. But he has now been relieved of all 3. And they're outside there, and who knows what can happen. Right? Good. A word to the wise is sufficient. Something else I want now is number 2. This up. So we're talking about load up the matic. Let's see what this man posted here. Right. Yeah, load up the matic and all of that. So let me play this. Where is it? Different approaches, right? So last night I had a little exchange with one of those UNC sycophants, the suffering from a severe case of cognitive dissonance. So Break Free HC, which is Garth Christopher, the man who's still toting a grudge over, well, you may recall Garth Christopher used to be on Power 102. He had a program there. He had 2 programs, in fact. At one time, he used to do a Sunday morning program with Schumer Wilson, and then Schumer departed, and then he was there. I think the name of his program was Breaking, I can't remember what it was, whatever, but it's 2 programs he had. At one time, while the ILP was still around, in fact, I used to be part of a program on that station called 3 the Hard Way. It was myself, Garth Christopher, and a guy, PNM guy by the name of Eric Esdell. Yeah? So the three of us used to come, Garth representing the UNC, Eric representing the PNM, and I representing the ILP. We would discuss the issues on our round table for 1 hour. I think it was twice a week or 3 times a week or something. So, yeah, we would discuss the issues and so. No, sorry, it wasn't Garth, it was, I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, a couple times Garth Christopher would have invited myself and others from the ILP to come and on his program. And then you all may recall he was unceremoniously removed. One day he was having his program, and while live on air, management came into the studio and tell him, you had to leave, pack up and leave. You know, he was blasting the government and they put him out. Yeah? And since then, he's been doing his own thing on social media. He was one of the most vocal persons for the UNC and Mrs. Prasad Bissessa. So a couple years ago, they decided to call something called the Break Free Movement. You all remember that? This Break Free Movement was supposed to be a new movement that was neither PNM or UNC or any other political party. And it's already coming together of the likes of Garth Christopher, Barrington Skippy Thomas, Joel D'Souza, David Welch, Nikki, what is her name, boy? Vicky Rampasad, who was also part of Trio.tt with David Welch, and somebody else. I can't remember the other guy's name. All of them met one Sunday at Joel D'Souza's home in San Fernando to say that they're coming together to form this new movement and what not. Well, it didn't last as long as the Red House fire. Right? First time breakaway was Joel, because she realized this ain't making sense whatever. So when they were to have the second installment, she didn't show up and whatnot. And eventually it whittled down to just Skippy and Christopher, which was very interesting to me because just prior to that, not too long before that, Christopher was wasting down Skippy for bad talking Kamala after the 2020 general election. Right? Remember Skippy on his program with this guy. I remember his name. He's the president of Eastern Credit Union now. So they used to have their program, and Richard Norrie, and they said Richard was suffering from a severe case of didn't get, that he wanted to be chairman. The claim was he wanted to be chairman of some big state enterprise, and he didn't get through, and therefore he started bad talking and maligning the government with Skippy. And when Skippy wasn't chosen to be in the Senate after the 2020 election because he didn't get through, because they put Naked instead of he, and then he turned on Kamala and started about talk Kamala and all kind of thing. And God got vexed. I started to talk all kind of thing on this program about Skippy and how Skippy's stepson or his son, who we say was kidnapped and murdered or whatever, that was his son, that was some boy he picked up, and all kind of allegations. He said the nastiest things about Skippy. So it was amazing to me to see all of them, but politics makes strange bedfellows. So at the end of it all of them abandoned the Break Free movement within the space of maybe a month or so. And Garth Christopher was left holding the tree, but he's the only one still holding on for their life to this Break Free. So he has this thing now called Break Free HC profile. You can go on it on Facebook and see the nonsense that he keeps posting every day, all kind of foolishness. But he attacking the UNC too, and letting them know, well, look, yeah, because he's not in support of Gary Griffith and this accommodation. But anyway, so he posted up something last night, and I had to comment, and then there was an engagement with a UNC supporter by the name of Margaret Ganesh, talking about nonsense. And so the question, right, he put up a post that Keith Rowley lied to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in 2015. I guess he's making reference to the email gate matter. And so I would have commented and reminded him that Kamala Prasad Bissessa and the UNC have been lying to the population since 1995 to 2024. And I referenced several things from 2010 that they promised. Axe the tax, they would repeal the Property Tax Act. Remember, they told us that in 2010 to get into office. Came into office and did not repeal the Property Tax Act. They promised fixed dates for elections. No longer will the Prime Minister be able to pull the election date from out of his back pocket and his Forbes. That didn't happen. They promised term limits for the Prime Minister, 2 terms, and they're gone. That never happened. They promised recall legislation. If your MP playing up in the monthly salary and you're not pleased with the performance, you could recall, if you get enough signatures from constituents, you could recall that MP. That never happened, right? They promised shipbuilding facility in Labre to replace the smelter plant. So all the jobs that the people in Labre were looking forward to with the smelter plant, that they cancelled, because they say the smelter plant will give you cancer and kill you. And they promised, yes, a shipbuilding, ship repair facility will be built on the same premises that the smelter was supposed to go on. That never happened. Yeah. So Ms. Ganesh decided to come in now and challenge me and say, who is a propaganda list and that I really? But up to now, she can't refute anything that was said. So I had to tell her, I said, go and pull up the PP manifesto for 2010 and you will see all of that there. The $3,000 pension. Remember? All the people were fooled, they said, vote pass. And you will get a pension of $3,000, old age pension at age 60. Yes, and then when they came into power, say it was a misprint. All them things they forget. But Keith Rowley lied to the population. Keith Rowley lied to the population. Right? But pray for AT and all of the nonsense. It occurred to me, right? Something for you. That while his leader talking about load up the matic, and that is the solution. And they having crime talks all over the place. First one was in St. Joseph, the second one in San Fernando, and I think the third one's supposed to take place, if not next week, week after, in San Grande. So they move into the marginal. So if that is the case, then the next one should, after Grande, they should go to Tunapuna and then La Joqueta Talparo. But you know why they would never hold the crime talks? Tell them go in Lavantil. Tell them go to Beatam and Silats, right? Where they always telling the supporters, is PNM, there's a PNM hellhole. Yeah? And that is where all the criminals coming from. Well, if that is the case, why don't hold a crime talk there? Go in there and talk to the youth. Well, they're so concerned about the at-risk youth in this country, but they will never hold crime talks in any of those areas, right? They're talking about how much crowd and how much you see people come into the events. Why don't hold it in Lavantil? Hold it in Beatam and Silats, and let me see how much crowd they will get now. Because they have so painted these areas as being the worst. And if you just pass there and you look sideways, by the time you look back, you sit down on the highway, your car gone, yeah, your clothes gone and everything gone, you're naked on the highway when you listen to these clowns. That's the impression. But I keep saying, the majority of them who like to bad talk, Beatam, Lavantil, Silats, ask them where that is, they don't know. They can't even find it with Waze or Google Maps, but always have the most to say about Beatam and Silats and so on. Because nothing good will come from there. So, let me give you the stark contrast, right? Let me find this here. Let's see. I'm getting this thing. The Grey Goose Granny, and not me, I didn't say so. That is what Mr. Shark says. So if I have a issue with that, take it up with you. Don't come at me for your legs. Yeah? Where is this thing? Just one second. So quite recently, Minister Cummings, through his ministry, went into the Beatam, went into Silats. Let's see if I find this thing here. I'm trying to find the thing here, but where is it? Where is it? Right, that's not. I think that's it. Something I'm going to find. Just give me 1 sec here, folks. Let me see. Right, this is what I'm looking for. Put this back on. Don't know how many of you may have listed, right? So Mr. Cummings and his ministry went into Silats and they decided to carry with them Young Brother. I just want to play a little bit of what Young Brother had to say to the young people in Beatam. You know, the at-risk youth, who the UNC always referencing as being the main perpetrators of crime, but ask them what they're doing to treat with that, right? Only holding a set of crime talks all over the place so that they could get people to come and bad talk these same at-risk youths. So Foster Cummings went in there, trying to find where he, in giving his opening remarks, made mention the fact they would have tried to get other persons to come with them to speak to the youth, and they were told, well, if we're going into Silas, we don't want to part of that, we're not going there. But he still went in there, right? So I'm assuming probably maybe other artists or whatever who went inclined to go to Silas. But he took his ministry there to talk to the young people, and they came out in their numbers to hear what had to be said. But when it is the Grey Goose Granny, when she was Prime Minister, Rather than go into the communities directly, you know what she did? I remember she went to Hilton, bring the Never See Come See and them to Hilton. So I could launch Color Me Orange. Give them jerseys, orange jerseys, but just let them know they had to pay for it. And that coming out of the pay that the $69 a day, let them know that coming out of that. She couldn't go into the community, right? Except when they had the Hooper Life thing with a whole police entourage. And she carried Shaquille O'Neal and paid Shaq $10 million to come and lift her up so she could dunk her basketball. But her supporters want to know how much money Felicia Rashad was paid to come to Trinidad and Tobago. But they wouldn't talk about that $10 million at taxpayers' dollars. That wasn't UNC money. Taxpayers' dollars that went to pay for a 15-minute photo op with Shaq. Yeah? But they forget that. But she went to Hilton, again with a heavy contingent of police, guard and emergency, riot police in full riot gear, waiting outside of the Hilton for when they Never See Come See and them reach. And because that is how they see these young people. Bring them inside here, hands up, out, down. Treat them like little children. Tell them, hey, we're launching a program for 3 months, they pay only $69 a day to paint buildings. And this is our intervention strategies. But they have a problem with the Prime Minister saying that they're going to invest $100 million into these at-risk communities. And it certainly is not going to be Color Me Orange. Right? Something a little more substantial and long-lasting. They have a problem with that. We'll talk about that from now till the cows come home. But let me just play a little bit of young brother.
Years, or not just being our bosses, yeah, you think I no, just start a business, do something. It's a real thing to do. Wake up in the morning, there are people who don't like to throw away garbage. Good morning. I see a two bagger rubbish in here, you have 250, I go carry it out. You understand? Instead of you coming by me now, you're like, you want to dinner, you want to buy this, you want to buy that. No. You understand? I ain't saying I will give as give as a given person, but still, instead of you give a man a fish, teach him to fish. So he could catch and feed the family too. You know? So that in this young brother, and I want all the youth, young brothers and sisters in my community, wisen up and do something good, you know? It's a good thing to let other people see that we is doing good. You know, eyes are light for my community, and I will never put them on these are light. You understand? Them is a light for the community, and we not do it good. When we do it, yes, I. Here we come. Yes, I. So I want to come to the top and we too is a community, not just one set of individuals in the community going up and one set of people rising. Everybody has to rise. Everybody has to see a better life, a different life, or they don't want to travel, or they don't want to see what all day, go on some kind of, you know, something that they pay you, go on aquarium, look you ready in the back, they laughing and smiling. Very important to the community. People love you, I love you, and it's talk there, but you have to get your mind on the right track. But they are telling everybody all this people are real love. You know? And we have to serious of ourselves because these people here, they love we. If they didn't love we, they would have never taken the time out of the day with the children and the family home to come here to talk. You understand? So they listen and try to take something from it. Even if you ain't get much, take something where you could still tell a friend, tell a cousin, a brother, a sister, hey, I hear this program going on, the people are not going to have programs in the youth in the community. Parents will encourage all your children to sign up with the program and let me see if we get some lawyers, some doctors down here. You understand? They don't have me. I'm an international superstar, but you know, you want some doctors and lawyers in the place. They can walk in and I think, come on, but just on a phone. Nobody did the help young brother. That's the call ambulance. Ambulance might take about 15 minutes to reach. You understand? But you know what? Hey, run on the second lane boy. So is that doctor. Hey, run so well. This one know the CPR. You know? But now we need in the community to help. You understand? So I would love to see that. And in order for it to happen, we have to take ourselves serious as a community, not just individuals alone. As a community, we have to be serious. Right? So these people here today, they are very serious. And I know by the end of the show, I think they will inform more about what is the programs they have planned. And, I want all the take all themselves serious, sign up, and put themselves on the right track because life moving very fast. You understand? And only don't want to reach 28, 30 and only still coming and sit down there, drink a water or smoke a cigarette or something. Really? Take all yourself serious. But as young brother, thank you for having me. When I say what?
Right. So that was young brother there, right? I mean, if you listen to his music, it's a bit raunchy, but he's still he's from the Sealots area. We would have been discovered based on again the power of social media, doing his thing and blow up, and how he's traveled or several places. He's been to Paris, he's been to the UK, different parts of Europe, and so on, Canada, and the like. Opportunities that normally would not present itself to persons of his background. But he has a talent, and he was able to use the power of social media to harness that talent. And today he is doing very well, right? A role model in the community. But you wouldn't see the likes of the bamboo moron bigging up people like that. Yeah, they had plenty negatives to say about Kareem Marcel, the first lawyer from Beetham. Yeah, but you wouldn't highlight people like this. So while it is the government of Trinidad and Tobago is using people like young brother to go into the communities and talk to those persons, young people who look up to him, yeah, who listen to his music, to show them this is how I did it, and you all could do it too. You may not be musically inclined, but there are other things that you could do. The Grego's granny telling them, load up the matic, showing them how to do it. Yeah, how to do it. You got to pull it back, right? Knock it on them and knock it again. And while she promoting Trinidad lyrics, telling you go on YouTube and go on and listen, watch the videos. These guys have over 1 million views. She wouldn't say, let's try to improve and use these guys to come and talk positivity into the community. She don't want that, right? Because they need, for these communities to continue to operate just the way that they are. So they could use that now, going into 2025, to talk about how the PNM constituencies are always in a mess and all of that, and they're doing nothing for their communities. So as I had to tell Break Free, instead of using your Facebook platform to only promote nonsense and putting up a set of dotish posts every day, attacking the government, why don't you use it for something positive, right? Put up the link to the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service for all the different programs that they have. The most recent being the $20 million grant fund that was launched a couple of weeks ago, intended to create 1,000 entrepreneurs by 2025, right? Where you could get grants of up to $20,000 to start your business, expand your business. He wouldn't put up that on his Facebook page, but only has a dotish post about Gary and Keith Rowley and all that. This clown, Anal Roberts, right, the dog liar, he wouldn't use his platform for that because every time he do a post, he's getting all kind of how much views and so on, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 views. To bad talk Dr. Rowley, to make allegations about which minister Dr. Rowley sleep with for them to get ministerial posts and all of that, and who on in who and all of this. But he was getting on and didn't even know. But as I story for another time. Wouldn't use his platform for that, to direct young people to that, because they so care about the youth and the at-risk youth, right? But you wouldn't use a platform to say, well, hey, I don't like the PNM, I ain't like Rowley, but the Ministry of Youth Development has a program in place, or this program in place that is designed to capture you, the youth, right? So if it is that you have a skill and you're looking for money to start your business, look the link there. You wouldn't use his platform for that. But come in every morning, doubles and coffee. PNM sucks. PNM sucks. And this is the idiot that Kamla Prasad Bisesa had put as Minister of Youth, Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, right? Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, and he has hopes of once again occupying that position, but wouldn't use what is currently in place to encourage the young people to gravitate. It is so, but when the government and the PNM accuse them of being happy that crime is flourishing in this country, she vexed last week. I blasted Vex. You see, I blasted Vex. Huh? You blasted vex because Dr. Rowley and the government saying that you're not interested in fighting crime, that you all are happy when it is that you see the murder rate go up and you're blasted vex about that. What is the truth? But you blasted vex. Well, all right, you're entitled to be vexed. That is your entitlement. But what it is that you all doing, other than these crime talks, that's why Gary Griffith abandoned them to have his own crime talks, because as he said, the crime talks must be more than just an opportunity for people to come and talk about how they were affected by crime. No solutions being offered. Enough. Come and see how you are impacted by crime and bad talk the government. Bad talk the commissioner of police, but offer no solutions. I wish Vernon Dilemma was still living in Trinidad. Yes, the same Vernon Dilemma who helped them to win the election in 2010. He and Hamel Smith, who went all the way to Malaysia to get accusations of bid rigging and so on. I wish he was still resident in Trinidad to be able to attend the talks and talk about how he was impacted by a home invasion back in 2014, 2015, when Kamala Prasad Bisesa was prime minister. When in the early hours of the morning, criminals came into the house, beat his wife to a pulp. Unfortunately, she never recovered from that and subsequently died, right? But it was by some saving grace that the two of them didn't end up murder statistics, because as he recounted, that they were told, make peace with Jamaica because you're going and meet him tonight. They were told that. He said that. So perhaps it would have been good for him to come and remind Mrs. Prasad Bisesa that he was the subject of a home invasion, victim of a home invasion, he and his wife, when she was prime minister. But they will have you believe that only happened when this government came into office, right? They had no home invasion when they were in office. Subsequent to that attack on Mr. Dilemma, while they were in office, not the hotspot areas. But anyway. So I wanted to play that just to show you the difference, right? In approaches. Again, and I keep reinforcing that while they're still talking about we want to create jobs and put me back in office and we'll create 50,000 and 55,000 jobs, 55,000 employees, Keith Rowley and the government saying we will create entrepreneurs, we will create employers. So you could run your own business. Yeah, so we could build the economy on the back. We could diversify the economy through building small and micro enterprises that could eventually grow into bigger companies later on. That's what they're talking. But nowhere in their manifesto is there anything. The same manifesto they come in to drop on all their chest in a few months for 2025. Nothing inside there about entrepreneurship. Save and accept. They always accusing this government of being in the back pocket of big business. But in their manifesto, what is their solution? Divest state enterprises or bring in the private sector to manage it. Sell it off to the private sector. Hand it over to the private sector and let them run it, and the government will benefit from taxes and royalties. That is their solution. The same people who they're cussing today and the 1% and so on, they are advocating. Put them in office, and you see all these state enterprises that are not making money, we just shut them down. But they have an issue with Petrotrin being shut down, but we restructured. No, we will shut them down, or we will put it in the hands of the private sector. How many times they make mention of the private sector coming in and being involved in the management of state enterprises in that manifesto? If you haven't taken, but don't worry, it will soon enough, as the year wears on and we draw closer to general election 2025, it will come back out. And as they start to talk manifesto, I will be sure, right? We will discuss what they're not putting out in the public space. Talking about foreign exchange, but in the same manifesto telling you they are going to move away from what the current administration is doing to ensure that the exchange rate remains where it is, 670 something, 677, 679. They are saying they're not supporting that. They want to preserve the country's foreign reserves, and they will allow the TT dollar to slide. So when it reaches $8, I hope some of these same UNC supporters, right, that have their heads buried in the sand, when that happens, all the things, the food import bill goes from 5 billion, and the cost of living shoots up. That all you who griping now that Rowley mash up the economy, and Rowley oppressing the poor, and Rowley oppressing the citizens of the country, that put them back in office. And when that happens, and when you could buy 5 US with what you have, you could now only buy 2. I hope you all will be glad to come out and complain in the same way, right? But you know what I say? No, it's because of what Rowley do, and Rowley mash up the economy, and that is why Kamala had to do that. Anyway, You see what's the time there? Right. I'm gonna find this. A couple other things there, but now I know I said I was going to talk about the EMBD matter, but it was suggested to me by more than one person that we should leave that until after Carnival so that we could deal with it in a more meaningful way. So yeah, of course I'm not going to be on Tuesday because I have to be participating fully on Tuesday. So won't be able to touch on that, but yeah. So we will see how that goes on Tuesday, right? But there was one other thing I wanted to play before we move on. Let me get it here. This one. So let me turn off this. Yes. You all know I always talk about Beavis and Butthead on that radio station, right? Let me get it here. This one. So for the last few days, they've been talking about the Paria issue. They bring it back up because they're out of things to talk about now. You know? Positive things. The same ones. These are the same two clowns always telling the government are doing nothing for poor people and nothing for African and they don't care about. But they would not, again, they wouldn't use their platform to talk about all the things that the government is doing with respect to the offerings for not just young people, but the citizenry on the whole, to be able to better your lives. So I saw Karina Ashe getting plenty licks for her song, Poverty is No Excuse for Crime. And some people, I saw the so-called queen of the East Dry River, who shall remain nameless, but you all know who I'm talking about, took issue with Karina Ashe's song. There's a difference between the word excuse and cause. Karine never said that poverty doesn't cause crime. What she said is there's no excuse. And as you just heard the young brother mention there, that there's always something to do. Always. And he gave a couple examples of things that people could do. Instead of deciding, look, let me go and put on a robbery, yes? I have money to send my children to school, so let me see who I could rob today. Right? I don't have money to buy food, or I don't have money to pay the light bill, or whatever. And I need credit on my phone, so let me see who I could hustle and rob today. He is saying there's always things to do. These guys who you see on the highway and the byways selling water, a case of water is what, $20-something? So they go and they buy 5 cases of water, right? For about $100, about $22, depending on the brand of the water, you can get it for $20. Some places selling 5 cases for $100 and all of that. But they buying the 5 cases for $100 and then selling the water 24 in a case for $5. Some of them on the highway selling it for $6, right? So they pay $20 a case, but selling it for $120. So they make $100 profit. So when they go and they spend $100 and buy 5 cases of water and sell that 5 cases, right? $500 profit. They're not saying, I'm poor, I have no money, I'm going to go and rob somebody. All of these are opportunities. They're in the hot sun a whole day, sweating the tail off, but they're up and down between cars. Who's selling pimento peppers? Who's selling bori? Who's selling okra, pineapple? You're seeing them on the highway selling. They're saying, I'm going to go and rob somebody. And this is the point that Karina Ashe is making. This is the point that the young brother is making. Poverty is no excuse. It is not an excuse. Yes, it's a cause because some people will use it to go and commit crime. Right? So it does cause it. But it is no excuse because when you come before the magistrate or the master or the judge, you can't tell them, well, boss or mom, I couldn't pay my life and I couldn't feed my children, so that's why I went and did what I did. You have Venezuelans who are coming here and opening businesses. Yes, opening food businesses, opening grocery and all kind of things. They came here with nothing but the clothes on their back and a few pieces they had in the Jahaji bundle. And today they own business. But the citizens of this country who born here and living here since, right, King Hatchet was a hammer, complaining about the suffering and the government oppressing we. I had nothing for the black man, what the government doing for we. Because you have the likes of the Grey Goose Granny when she was the prime minister, right? And her populist policies. Just put money in their hand, get them $500 a month to make child. Baby grant, get them food cards. You know, just give them government money. So that they have an excuse, they don't need to go and work. They could just like sit on home all day and they know that at the end of the month, the food card will get top up They know they'll get the money, whatever check or anything, the money going into their bank account at the end of the month for the baby grant and whatever else they apply for, and they're good to go. Get them a corporation work. So they go to work 5 o'clock in the morning, and by 8, 9, 10 o'clock, they finish work, and for the rest of the day, they could lie down in the hammock or sit down on the block and smoke weed. That is their policies, right? For that cohort of persons. The same ones that the PNM is now targeting to become business owners. So we're not just giving you the money, we're giving you the technical support too, and the wherewithal to be able. You don't have a bank account, we'll help you to do that. All of these different things, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, all of them are doing. The Ministry of Housing, 600 houses to be built for persons for the poverty line, right? Who live in the little shack and they're still using outhouses, latrines, and so on. The government said 600 in the first instance. We're going to help you. All you need to do is bring your sweat equity. Tell your neighbors and friends, come and help you to mix mortar and so on, right? So that the money that would be used to pay laborers, that money could go into the house and give you something more substantial, a bigger house, a better house. They ain't promoting that. Nothing of the sort in their manifesto. Come, we'll give you land for the landless. Look at certificate that say the government give you authorization to go and squat. You ain't getting no money to build no house. No. Nothing of the sort. Just look at certificate that come for beat your chest. You ain't want to pay property tax. But you want certificate that come for where you could do that. You go in the bank with that? No, you can't. The PNM telling you come to the homestead program. We will train you in agriculture and then give you, we're giving you land. So you have a deed for the land, a deed of lease, giving you a starter home, that's yours. We're giving you the start, but you could expand it afterwards as much as you want. If you want to go up, you want to go, however, we're giving you the start. The money to start your business and so on. So you don't need to go and line up by HDC to get no reference number and wait 10 and 20 years to get a house. They ain't talking about it. But anyway, I digress. So, Dumb and Dumber, whatever all they want to call them, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butter, waste of time and more waste of time. So last week, they're talking about the Paria issue, right? And attacking callers. These two clowns, who according to Mr. Shack, don't know their assembly from the elbow, but come in every afternoon to educate and inform. And I keep saying, before you come to educate and inform everybody, educate and inform yourself. Two block-headed mules, unfortunately, sorry to say, right? But that is exactly how they present themselves. Because when you could attack people who call in and telling you, giving you information that you don't have, and you want to tell the people as if you know, you don't know nothing. But let me play it for a little here for yourself, right? For those who are not inclined to listen, I don't really listen to them, but it's just because on that day, Darian Marcel, who I normally listen to in that time slot, he wasn't there, and they were just playing music, and I decided to hear what it is these two idiots had to say. All right, I'm gonna play this. Just give me 1 sec, let me pull this up.
Good afternoon, caller. Good evening.
So what I have to tell you, I will not no PNM talk to you, but just now, I wasn't going to talk no PNM talk to you. Let me tell you, yes, supposed to take out movement compensation for the workers, and Paria was wrong to hire ILMCS because the workers weren't covered properly. So both of them wrong.
I'm not hearing you clearly. I would like you to start over.
I said LMCS was supposed to take out movement compensation for the workers.
Right.
And Paria was not supposed to hire them because the workers wasn't covered properly.
Was that said in the inquiry?
You forget the inquiry said both LMCS and Paria wrong.
But inquiry never said that.
They give Paria the greater part because
they said Paria was wrong. They never said LMCS was wrong.
But listen to what I'm telling you, Paria have
just now, sweetheart. I would like us to stick to what is in the report.
Correct.
Right? Because that is what is that. Do you have faith? Let me ask you something. Let me ask you one question. Do you have faith in the government of Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, I'm not talking about
course, I'm just asking you one question.
Yeah, I have faith.
Right.
In certain ways.
Do you have faith in the government? Hold on. So the government of Trinidad and Tobago was responsible for hiring people that is responsible. Just now, sweetheart. Just now, sweetheart. The government of Trinidad and Tobago was responsible for hiring people that is responsible enough to bring a judgment on the whole situation.
Well, that part was wrong. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you exactly as it is.
So you tell me part of the judgment there was wrong?
No, I'm talking exactly what it is. LMCS was wrong to hire the people.
You cannot say that. That is not the truth. That is not the truth.
Oh gosh, all the talking.
You're making up your own thing.
I say LMCS.
You cannot say that. You can't say that. You cannot say that. LMCS was nowhere in the You cannot say that. You are lying. You're making up your own truth. You now tell me you have faith in the government. If you have faith in the government, then the government is who chooses that boy.
You're lying. You're making up your own truth. LMCS was nowhere in the report. Let me read for you all page 32 of the report. Right? Page 32. Voluntary manslaughter. There is not a strong enough case to recommend the prosecution of any one individual. However, the law permits a corporation to be charged with manslaughter. The commissioners are minded to recommend to the DPP that on the evidence, they find that there are sufficient grounds to conclude that Paria's negligence could be characterized as gross negligence and consequently criminal. They recommend that the DPP consider charging Paria with what is commonly known as corporate manslaughter. Offenses under the OSHA Act. The report concludes that there is evidence to justify prosecution of Piper and Ali Sr. individually, Paria and LMCS as employers for a number of offenses under the OSHA Act. The expert evidence. This report examines the expert evidence of Mr. Zaid Khan and his recommendations, which the commissioners rely upon and adopt. In summary, Mr. Khan concluded that the root cause of the accident was the failure by both Paria and LMCS to recognize that a latent delta P condition would have been created by the methodology used in the execution of the works, with particular reference to the removal of fuel oil from SL36. So the Commission of Inquiry report recommends that Colin Piper of Paria and Kazim Ali Sr., the owner of LMCS, be prosecuted, as well as Paria and LMCS as employers for a number of offenses under the OSHA Act. But these two clowns want to tell the woman she lying. She making up her own truth or her own facts or whatever. And the report never mentioned LMCS. Dumb and Dumber, listen to, and referencing now, they need to play back the recording, they need to play back the video with the commissioner when they listen to Commissioner Lynch, Chairman Lynch, read what is called the executive summary. The executive summary, which is a summation of the 480-something page report, and figure that that was the sum total of the report. They have not had sight of the report, don't know what the hell is in the report, but coming on national radio every day to tell you, oh, the report they never blame LMCS, and LMCS was never liable for nothing, and telling the woman she lied, right? So I would have gone on their Facebook on their thing, because you know I'm not allowed to call the radio station because the owner says so until he gets some apology from me, but he will wait for that. But so I'm not going to call in any event. So I went in the comments and I indicated to them exactly what I just read for you all there. And of course, one or two of the supporters who always call in to tell them, oh, they're doing a great job and the PNM is like bottom and all kind of thing. And I posted a picture of that, what I just read there for you. Right? Posted it there for you. You know, the supporters wouldn't come and say anything. Well, they just listen to these two clowns abuse this woman and tell her all kind of thing. Right? All kind of thing. She's making up her own facts, she lying and so on. Don't have a clue what the report said. When she raised the issue of the workmen's compensation, That was in a newspaper article 2 weeks ago, which spoke about the fact that the workmen compensation insurance plan, which LMCS had, expired on the 30th of December. And they only went to try and renew it in March when the incident happened on February 25th. No insurance company is going to honor that. You can't, your car insurance expire. You decide you ain't ready to pay it yet, you ain't had money for that. So you're going to ride it out until you get money. And in the course of riding it out, you get into an accident and then you decide you're going to run to the insurance company to renew the policy so that they could fix your car. It don't work so. Their policy was lapsed for 2 months, 2.5 months before they went and paid it. So unless they gave instructions to the insurance company to renew it, there is no there is no money to be paid by the insurance company. But they only talk about Paria had to pay and Paria must compensate and Paria must compensate because it's Paria told them not to attempt the rescue. But they're not focusing on who caused the problem, whose negligence, right? Whose attempt to engage in a shortcut resulted in the Delta P that caused these men to be sucked into the pipeline. So let us not look at what the cause was. Let us look at the effect and what the outcome was. And Paria should pay. Pay how much? Just a figure that they pull out of the hat. Nonsense. Before that, they're talking about, oh, the government allowing the same board to decide how much to pay the family. There is a process. Paria cannot just say, well, all right, well, Prakash Ramadan say pay them $5 million each, so let's pay them $5 million. So suppose they say, well, we're going to pay 5, and then Prakash say, well, it's 5, well, we're willing to pay, well, we'll be changing it to 10. Why not 100 million each? Why stop there? Let's pay them $1 billion each now. What is the methodology by which you determine how much money to pay them? These two clowns are studying that. No, just pay the families. Yeah? Pay, and also pay, before families to pay, one of them is the owner of LMCS because his son died. So pay him too, $5 million, as Prakash has recommended. When it was his company that caused the Delta P in the first place, but he must be compensated for negligence. He must be compensated for incompetence. That you put a man who was demoted just a few weeks before in charge of that project, right? Took a decision that resulted in the Delta P that caused these men to be sucked in, but we must compensate he for that. That making sense to them. And talking and every afternoon, where is the Telecommunications Authority? When I was there, they quick to send letter because I referred to Kamala as a damn liar. They vex. Someone of our supporters wrote to complain. I refer to the opposition leader as a damn liar. Right? They quick to send letter or they review the footage and whatnot, and they find that is not language suited for the radio. But you have two men who every evening misleading the public and defending that position from a point of ignorance. And you ain't gonna send no letter to tell them do better than that. No, let us continue to spread propaganda, use the airwaves to spread propaganda and misinformation. And when you listen to the people calling in this radio station and supporting and endorsing the nonsense and adding to what they're saying to it, I cannot believe that we have people in this country like that. But that is what Mr. George promotes. You know, he liked that kind of bacchanal thing. So let them call in and say the worst of things and malign the government, not understanding how the procedure must work. And not because the Commission of Inquiry made a recommendation means that the government has to abide by that. All the recommendations from the OFF report, all the recommendations from the Commission of Inquiry into the Piaco Airport, were any of those taken on board? Did the government implement any of those? Why they didn't tell Kamala to do that? All the commissions of inquiry that she had when she was Prime Minister. And the sole intent of these commissions of inquiry was really so that the UNC food lawyers could eat our food. The likes of Gerald Ramdeen and Varun Debedine, who were too busy and tied up in all of these briefs that they were getting from the state to serve their private clients. Right? Resulting in what? Let me see. Yes. And that is the foolishness that they're talking about. And these are the mouthpieces for that party. I have a serious issue with that. These men are unresearched, uninformed, ignorant, and have a platform for 6 days for the week to spread that kind of propaganda. And that is, anyway. But anyway, looking at the time. Now, I wanted to touch on something here, right? So someone says, I don't agree with Chairman Lynch's recommendation. LMCS is liable. I don't think that Paria should be held accountable for LMCS I agree with you. They shouldn't be held, but that is what he said. That's what the commissioner said. Because Paria decided that they wanted to be a bit too, a bit cautious. That they didn't want, instead of 4 men dying, to have 8 or 10 men dying. Right? And time simply was not in their favor. Let me see here. There was a comment I saw just now I wanted to touch. So, give me 1 second. Deborah says those who can read past the first word. So true. Let's see this one. All right, so apparently I'm looking, I saw someone here. Let's see. Yeah, these two, I don't know. Anyway, but that's what we have. And you're going to be getting plenty more of that in the coming days and in the coming months. Too misinformed. I don't know if they're going to bring back anybody else anyway. We'll see how that goes. But the PNM needs to understand what they're coming up against with this type of foolishness. And the amount of people who want to believe that. The amount of people who want to believe that foolishness. A man called in, he was saying about, the divers when they were about money or whatever it is, because they know they didn't have the necessary skill set. But they were doing similar jobs before, and they get away just on this occasion because one man decided to engage in a shortcut. But the families, right? The families of those who died, not willing to pull up this man, right? For the shortcut that he take. They ain't gonna pull here. But they want to pull up everybody else. But anyway, 7701763. Let's see who we have. So let me get this. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, sir, go ahead. We hear you.
Yeah, are you hearing me, sir?
Loud and clear.
You're hearing me?
Yes.
Right, so can I proceed?
Proceed.
May I proceed?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, just 2 points I want to make, and very quickly. One. This woman is recommending to the young black people of the East-West corridor about load-up-matic and load-up-matic. It's really aimed at them, not so much at the homeowners.
Correct.
What she's doing is fostering violent language and violence by doing what she's doing. She really doesn't care and lying to the people about, I know that music, I know Trinidad music, I love that music, I always listen to that music. Bicessa knows nothing about that Trinidad music. In fact, she holds nothing but contempt for people who sing that kind of nonsense. She has nothing but contempt for those people. She hates them. But you see, the lazy black boys and girls are fodder for her. And she knows that they listen to that rubbish. But I want to remind the young black people of the corridor and this country of something. The same person whose lyrics she's recommending to you, the government of St. Kitts Nevis last week blocked him from performing in their island, saying that it is a bad influence to the young people of this little country. They blocked him. He couldn't even enter the country. And as soon as he landed back here, he was arrested by the police as an avowed, well-known gang leader. Well-known gang leader. On bail now, but his reputation precedes him.
Yes.
And that is the kind of person who Bicessa is recommending to the youth of this country. Not so much the victims of home invasion, is the young black vote she's looking for. That is what she's looking for. So they're listening to the talk about guns and this and that. And in other words, load it up. Go and use your gun. Go and use your gun, man. No big thing, man. Because she knows that they're so naive that they know, that she knows it, but they don't know that she has nothing but hate and contempt for them. She wants them to kill out themselves. That is what she's doing. Right, finally, I am shocked as a citizen of this country with the antics of this DPP. I am shocked. You going and but you are McClashy. You are a negotiator with a trade union. Never in my adult life. We have been a republic for almost 50 years, around 76, 77, and no DPP. We have had several DPPs before. None of them have ever gone out in public looking for friends like me now and looking for appeasement and going to meet with a group of people who are playing politics and who are openly attacking the government and who are calling on you to fire the board and to charge the members of the Paria board. That is what is happening here. And I am shocked. I'm shocked that this DPP has gone public with his office. From the time you went on Dale and Tony program some months ago, what it is, you're looking for friends? You're looking for what? Acceptance? Cheap acceptance? That's not your job. Your job is to receive information and recommendations from the police after they do their thorough investigation, and then they will pass it to you, and you will decide in your own judgment whether charges could be laid or whether the matter should be referred back to the police or no charges should be laid at all. That is your remit. Your job is not to come in public and look to make friends with people who are openly calling for the Paria board to be fired and fined and charges laid against them. I am sure the Prime Minister of this country is very disturbed about this turn of events, and I, as a private citizen, I am shocked by the behavior and the antics of this DPP who has gone public with his office, which at best should be cloistered and at worst discreet and private about the management of your affairs as a public officer with responsibility for criminal matters. Thank you very much, Mr. Roman.
Thank you, sir. And I concur wholeheartedly. The DPP must understand that if he does decide now to charge Paria with corporate manslaughter, charge Mr. Piper as the case may be, there would be those who would say that he would have been influenced by that meeting that he had with the representatives of the OWTU, regardless of whether it was 15 minutes or 15 seconds, right? Because is it then that anybody now who has a concern could just go to the DPP, show up outside the DPP's office and say, I want to sit down with the DPP to discuss this case and find out what's going on, and if he go in and charge? People could do that now? Anybody? And you say, yeah, come in, come, have about 15 minutes, come and sit down, we talk. Perception, sir, perception, as they say. Yeah. I have utmost respect for Mr. Gaspard. Sometimes I find I've recently doing some kind of things there that I'm a little concerned. Yes, let me see this. Hold on, Nick. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dom. How are you?
I am good.
You know something? I want the UNC is a picnic party. Every good in this nation, they find fault with. I mean, but Mr. Shah came for Carnival, as a public citizen, but a person she knew. Pay them, see her. They should be charged for slander. You have ruined her good name. She came on a friend's invitation, not the government. You so hate this land, right? You hate people with slave master's name. What is her name? Chiefs have names of the slave masters too. You hate people in this land with slave master's name, but you embrace her. How is that? No, that's not the intention. But if I hate you, I hate you. I don't want a grain of salt for you to put in my pot. They hate conveniently. I was on Facebook, eh?
Yes.
They sing the Alice Muhammad. Yes, Mr. Shan, come deliver a double. Try a palori. Try this roti. Try a curry goat. But you hate the people of this land with his master's name, but you love her. Hypocrites of the highest order. You're playing games. And if anybody with you and see, they look for what they get. There's no perfect party because you're human. But if I hate you so much, something wrong with me though.
Mm-hmm.
Something must be wrong with me. What is this guy talking about? And what? This song, Mark Rambaran, qualified a rapist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But he forgot that Fatma Raj was an old hardback Cohen who married a girl who was 14 years old. Is that a pedophile too?
Yes.
Because she couldn't vote, couldn't go to the bank, couldn't drink, couldn't smoke, could not drive. Isn't that wrong? So how would it tell you? It is always true for us, but life for them. They're crazy. Or the hate is so intense. And I hate Dominic. The hate is in the bowel of the body. You know what the bowel is? The rectum. The hate starts from there. If you're so bad as you think people, pack your big little Georgie bundle and take a one-way trip to the sun. But everything you acquire here, your money, house, your land, leave it here. Take your dog, your parrot, your pig, take your dog, your parrot, your fowl, and go to the sun. Because you are not a member of this nation. Education of people who born here. Nothing fly by night. Get out of my nation. Your hate is good at disease from a man. Right? They're right. They quit crime racism, but they are the most racist people in this nation. The insecure. Like I said one of yesterday, let's say I'm very well saved. Pan is a beautiful instrument. The pastor was adopted. Pan is a born and bred child. You like it? Cut off the ears. What can we do it? So I told you now, I'm straight to the point. I'm sick of those people. They're people? No, sorry. Those things on two legs. They are hateful. They are evil. And if he's so bad, please go down. Have a good weekend. Be safe, my darling. Bye-bye later.
You too. Thank you. Right. So before I take the next call, I saw a comment that's not trying to find out campaign. Apparently, someone took umbrage to my mention of the issue of Karine Ashe's song. The title, Poverty is No Excuse for Crime. Right? And I made the point. There's a difference between the word excuse and cause. Excuse and cause. Let me give you the definition of excuse. To seek to lessen the blame attaching to a fault or offense to try to justify. A reason or explanation given to justify a fault, right? Excuse and cause. The song says poverty is no excuse for crime. I said poverty can cause crime. There are persons who use poverty, maybe poor, and if they feel that then there is no other option, may, in a fit of desperation, engage in crime. If they weren't poor to the point where they're struggling and they feel there is no other alternative, they would have done something else. So I'm saying yes, it can cause, but it is not an excuse. Because if you are poor and your child needs a textbook and you can't afford it, and your child goes to school and steals somebody else's child's textbook and bring it home, are you going to tell the child, well, okay, it's all right because mommy and daddy can't afford it, but your teeth fit, so it's all right? We grew up learning, if you bring home a pencil that is not yours, carry it back. You bring home an eraser or a sharpener, it's not yours, carry it back because I didn't buy it for you. It's not yours. You're stealing. Right? It is no excuse. So you cannot say, well, it's okay, yes, your thief because you needed it. You was hungry, so you thief. It is not an excuse, but it can cause it. And that is why I made the definition. The distinction between the two. All right? And that is what I publish. I'll give you an example. I have a young man, probably about 19, 20, who comes here to cut my lawn and so on from time to time, right? Sometimes he comes and the lawn is not yet ready to be cut, but the grass not ready to cut, but he comes anyway, so I'll give him a blind. So he comes the other day to do it. I say, all right? So he comes with his whacker, and he asked me if I have a knife. So I have a switchblade knife that I purchased in Miami last year when I went for Thanksgiving. Because he wanted to do some issue with the whacker. And I gave it to him, right? So he's finished. I was doing something at the time. So when he was finished, I told him come back, and I had to step out. So he came afterwards and he did well. So I come back and it really slipped me at the time. So he came and I paid him and whatever. Then it dawned on me, but wait, he didn't give me back my knife. I haven't seen him since. So I told my neighbors who lie with him, I say, if you all see him, tell him, don't forget to bring back my knife. He's been told on numerous occasions that I said, bring back the knife. Up to now, he can't bring it back here. Because apparently he liked it more than me. Right? Now I allow you to come. Okay, I understand you're working nowhere where you're doing a little hustle. So I get like, you come in even when I don't need your services, I'll still allow you. And pay you the full thing. Come, have a lime tree in my yard, the lime tree needed trimming, you come, you trim it to have all the branches. You heap it up. I told him about it the last time he came. He said, well, you know, you gotta let it dry up first now because it has the little picker and stuff in it, so you will throw it. I said, all right. You come back another time, it's dried up. You left it there. No problem. But you take the knife. It doesn't belong to you. You didn't ask me for it. Right? You've been told on numerous occasions to bring it back, and you still haven't brought it back. What's his excuse? So if he take it and he sell it because he find, okay, I suppose to say, well, it's all right. It's a hustle. Yeah. So I will excuse him. He's dishonest. You took what is not yours. You didn't ask me for it. I didn't give it to you. I loaned it to you to fix whatever it is. So I cannot excuse that because you would tell me, well, okay, well, you need some money. Well, if you ask me for help and you explain your situation, I say, all right, no problem. I can help you out. But you don't just come and take people's stuff without asking and you feel that you are entitled. It is no excuse. It's better you ask and the person may be in a position to help you than you take it upon yourself to relieve them of stuff because you don't understand how that impacts that person, right? Trust is broken. Because whereas I could leave before, I would be willing to leave you on my property to do whatever it is that you have to do. And then when I come back, I pay you. I can't do that again because you have shown me that you have the propensity to steal. So I don't know if there are other things on the property that you might help yourself with. So it is not an excuse. But so I see if it is, and this is just my position. Other people will have a different opinion. And I am saying it cannot be an excuse. So let us please look at the definition of what an excuse is, right? It can cause it, but there is no judge, no master of the court, no magistrate in this country who is going to accept that is because you're poor, that you committed a crime and tell you, well, all right, go free. And then you do it a second, go free. So you have the opinion now, but once I tell them it's because I'm poor and that's why I did what I did, I'm going to get to it. Anyway, Jenny. Yeah, Jen.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I can tell you so you've done the factors 7 things. When you get to these people who continue to say poverty is the reason why people are committing crime, watch the people who say that. Because as I say again, poverty is not an excuse. Poverty could create a situation where if you don't have the proper foundation from that home, church or community, that they could commit crime.
Yes.
There was a part of my life I grew up as a child that we were poor, my mother and I. But I know I will be at peace, nobody pays. And they went in my mother's house. I didn't know I wasn't going to live to see our next building. I know nowhere I could have been telling my mother because we didn't have anything to eat. and I was feeling hungry. I went and teased Mr. This thing or Mr. Thing. Should have matched me right back with them there, cut my tail in front of them, and let them cut my tail too. So the point I'm making is this, you have to make a choice. And if you are in poverty, you have to find some type of way. There's something you can do. You can go and sell something. You can go in the shop, tell the shop owner, listen, what if I come on mornings and clean up the shop for you and this and that and get a bread or a piece of cheese or something? You could think and do something. You go by the neighbor yard and say, I see when you have the grass growing over. You could, what about if I cut the grass for you? And you could give me XYZ. You could do a trade like that and start off. But don't just simply tell me you get up and because you're poor and living in poverty, you're going to stress everybody else. But again, look at the people who always continue to use poverty as an excuse for African people to say why the youth been crying. Because them same people won't tell the youth, hold on to me and show you the government and national services. Or while you're sitting on the phone line on the block, pull up the page and see all the programs they have there. They won't tell them to do that. They just simply tell them, we only go to, only 2 hours, only hungry, so you have to teach. Felicia Thomas was saying, Felicia Rashad was saying, and the people who are complaining, they do not understand who that woman is. That woman, she was born in 2004, the first black woman to win a Tony Award. In 2008, she won the NACP Image Award. And she has been winning awards since then. She is a highly acclaimed Broadway actress, also movie. Her sister is Debbie Allen, a noted choreographer and dancer, so they grow up in the arts. So when you see her speak, she has that quiet dignity. She's not roused to excitement and getting on and hyper, but she has a dignified way of doing it. And when I heard her mention Bosco Holder, when she said she understood why, when he did the Wiz, he brought his own type of magic. It's because he came from Trinidad, so she understands. So that's when she spoke about the magical. She was speaking in that kind of way. That's how people, when the arts speak, they speak in terms of things that make you believe that, oh my God, what on earth is this? So if they don't understand what we have here, because I understand in America, those interviews are trending. And people are really excited about this Trinidad that Felicia Rashad is speaking about. I'll continue quickly. I see Rick on the live there, and I'll show you some Rick Ball or something. Speaking about Indians not being the police service, and thank God when the annual community changes. I want to tell them something. The reason why the police service didn't have a lot of Indians in it, first of all, when the parents were telling only the doctor, lawyer, and teacher. Only talking for you. And when only they get in, only they stand up to the physical training. So it was no plus to keep only out the police service. Now, when you look at some of those of Indian descent who go into getting service, you could see them come iron, you could see them come themselves, and you could see they're ready for that type of job. So we're only talking, no what time it is. And lastly, from FENCC, I call it because the show is not called Amanda, but the show is called FENCC. They are a constant reminder for children to stay in school. Because when you don't stay in school, you could end up like that. But with the LMS thing, they don't understand how it works. If you are an employer, you have to provide a safe environment for your employees. That says so in the OSHA Act. And if you don't do that, and the worker gets injured, then you are liable to pay for whatever damages they incurred. So that diving company that send men who are untrained to do a job, and those men died, that company is the primary company to compensate the family. Paria subtracted, so that's him. For him, not his workers, you know. He said he could do the work. He gave whatever tendering process, whatever it is. The only person that Paria was dealing with was Captain Junior or Senior, whatever. That wasn't dealing with the divers and them. So if they had to stand any type of liability, it may be due to the fact they may not have done due diligence in the person who was given that contract to do the job. But the primary person to pay for the debt of those workers is Captain Senior. And there's law to say that's just exactly what I'm saying. So if Heavy and TC don't read and don't understand, they need to shut up sometimes. And again, I was just following that crap on the radio station. It shows that you're really interested in business. Like you're interested more in a hustle. And people who are in serious business don't hustle. Because when you're hustling in business, don't last. So I make you all of us say, excuse me, and also the winners of Panorama, congratulations. All the winners of Carnival shows that has happened before, congratulations. Mm-hmm. People be safe out there. And we're going to show Kamala Petra this sector. And she bunch of incompetent, neophyte losers. Like we will have a successful Carnival season with all races. We'll be able to join hands and jump together and say Trinidad is a beautiful place. Welcome home. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Jen. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dominic, how are you?
I am good, man.
Yes, man. I'm going to permission from Miss Jenny. And to wish you people trying to go have a safe carnival for the next couple of days. Right? But, Dominic? Hello?
Yes, sir.
It is really amazing that there still are some people who want to put all the blame on a state-owned company for the death of those people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't add up. Contrary to what the reports say. And these days now, I am looking at this man who spearheaded that commission of inquiry, that Mr. Lynch. I think I've been compromised, you know. And I have been watching that gentleman cook here for the longest while. Because personally, I think that report should have come to that. I think most of the blame should be passed on to the subcontractor who do that work. And it was them who do it's them who cause the P delta, correct?
Yes.
So I am trying to understand the mathematics. How can the families blame Paria for that P delta? When it is the people who was hired by Paria that caused the P delta? And to put full insult, we see allegedly the wife of the head of that company marching with people asking for the resignation of the board of Paria.
Mm-hmm.
You know something going on there, Dominic?
Yep.
And something like that thing. I know that we studied about Carnival and stuff like that, but the situation with the oil spill in Tobago.
Yes.
I want to touch on that. You know, that thing with the capsized boat. You know what I remember? You remember a gentleman who had a video, and he went out with his own boat about a capsized boat on the coast of the Gulf of Paria?
Yes.
That gentleman, he's the president of the fisherman of the seas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that gentleman when I had that oyster to Tobago? Where was he?
Well, convenient.
We probably come out for Carnival.
Yeah, he'll show up eventually.
Because you know, I don't know. Is it because this thing happened in Tobago waters? Is it because of the people who is now in charge of Tobago affairs? That certain people's voices they're very quiet about this whole matter.
Mm.
I was expecting the Jockey Shots man and Tobago to talk about it too.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tobago Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And even the opposition forces and the so-called environmentalists.
Mm. Why
are they so quiet about this whole situation? Right? Because I am made to understand that the Prime Minister, Stuart Young, and the Work Minister, when they visited OSAT, is very serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just want to find out what I thought of Dominic because I thinking maybe if the THU is going to be the PNM still. You want to hear Harry Tom, Dick, and Harry condemning the authorities?
Correct.
I don't know. It's real stranger. But because you're going to comment because I hear some talks about that you might need international help to claim that spill.
Yes, I saw that.
Right, but I find it fascinating that I see the brother man from Friends and Fishermen of the Sea to come and visit that oil site. Right, but he find time to visit the so-called capsule vote or the coastal Gulf of Paria and blasting the government for that. Remember?
Yes.
Right, but I want to find what your thoughts on that. I go on.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, let me just say one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I am convinced beyond a doubt that this whole Paria imbroglio is rooted in politics and race. And race. Do we know? I mean, I wonder if people know that the wife of one of the deceased gentlemen went up for the UNC in the local government election last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she went up for the UNC in one of those rural areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see, politics. She went, and whenever there's a protest outside the Paria facility, she's always there talking. And what is she saying? What is she saying? Get rid of the whole board. Fire all of them. They must make a jail. Those are holes, not mine, eh?
Yes.
They must make a jail. And in that scenario, in walks our deputy. In that scenario, Now look at the other side of it. My personal view is that the main target in all of this has always been from the outset, is the chairman of the Paria board.
Yes.
Newman George. Let's connect some dots, as Stanley used to say. Newman George, chairman of the board, is the husband of Bridget Anita George, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Mr. George is also, from what I understand, is Dr. Rowley's personal friend, is his golfing partner.
Mm-hmm.
And the overall thing that links everything, PNM politics, and those three people, the chairman of the board, his wife, and Dr. Rowley, are all black people. So it is politics and race. That is where. Now they call another name. There's some fellow named Ali and something. But those are not the ones who really want to get a blow. Those are not the ones. Because it would break their hearts if any punishment comes to the Indians on that Paria board. That is a fact. And we in Trinidad must understand, we must be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. We must understand when people spit it in your face, the target is the chairman of the board. It is politics and race, without a doubt. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It is politics and race.
Brian.
Dominic, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Greetings.
Dominic, this issue with Paria, you know I follow it very, very closely.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this. It has angered me to such an extent that the biasness is so What's the word Basio Pandi use?
Sure it is that.
It's so, what is it? You could taste it.
What Julian John said, it was palpable.
Yeah. Yes, that's the word.
Palpable, yes.
You understand? Because I want to know if the OWTU now are attorneys at law. Not for industrial action, but for normal high court, that they could afford to go up there Friday gone with the families of the guys who died, the divers, to talk to the DPP. I have not heard any of the armchair critics say anything as yet. Maybe it's Carnival time. I know Roger get a degree and he passed the bar. I didn't know that. That he could go and talk. Hey, DPP, yo, let me chat now. We see how things going. We're doing so far about this case. Your case for them by yet? The Paria? The board? Tell me now what's going on. I'll appear with these ladies here. So then anybody could go and talk to the DPP, Dominic?
Well, that's why I asked you.
I thought that was like independent of everybody body. That he would only take information and evidence from the police after the investigation and lays with the police basis on any incident or accident or any case whatsoever. So then Dr. Roddy could go and chat with him then.
Colin Piper could go and chat with him too.
It looks so. This is where we reach, because this is not the first time this happened, that anybody could get up and go and chat with the DPP. Hey, how you going? We see him. I go. How things on the Carnival treating you? Anyway, I have a matter to discuss with you. Come now, let me talk now. This is where we reach. This is the man who wanted bulletproof glass and a wall to block up the door so nobody won't be able to get at them. But it's easy. This is where we reach in this case, Dominic. That all of a sudden, everybody in hot pursuit of justice.
Yes.
But nobody asking the question, well, what caused the Delta P? Have the workmen's compensation been paid? And if so, how much? They're going on 2 years, that's now.
2 years.
Nobody asking these questions. So Roger them could walk up by the DPP and chat like normal Friday evening or Friday morning, whenever it is doing. And all is well. And begging for jail for people because what? Because you have a vendetta because the refinery closed down. And it's amazing how this whole thing, The OWTU subsidiary got 3 opportunities to purchase the refinery, and they couldn't do it. But you see that $7,100 bills he used to get every month that he ain't getting again?
Yes.
That hurting him. That is what hurting him. So he decides he don't care about no inquiry or but even before the inquiry, he and Abdullah, all of them were already apportioning blame. And this is what we have to sit here in this country and say, is that justice? Who do you trust now? The DPP could entertain these people. Who do you trust? I thought the laws are scale are supposed to be balanced. But this is where we are today, Dominic, because the 25th of February is close. It is at hand. So look out for more bacchanal as soon as Carnival Tuesday finish. Dominic, the last entire thing I want to talk about is this crime talk by the UNC. Now, I didn't want to bring up. It's unfortunate when people die. Let me say that out front.
Yes.
But when I watching this crime talk in Barataria, in Sawa, and I see a man in a UNC jersey looking with hair like mine get up on the platform and bawling that he don't know what to tell his 3-year-old child because he wife dead. And Rowley and Hines must go. And the PNM must go. I say, well, hold on. Your wife went with $11,000 to try and get a deal from a man. She didn't get a deal, so she had a concern. And she went back to get her money and she went with other people. She ain't go with you. So you want to tell me, have $11,000 to buy furniture. She ain't getting furniture. She have a concern that the guy not delivering. You will ask a question, well, who is this guy? Do you have a court receipt? With an insignia, court insignia on it? You have anything? And not only that, if you go back down to meet the man to talk to, you don't think you should go with your wife and say, well, I'm coming with you? Or you didn't go? Other people went. Unfortunately, something happened. Or you want to blame Rowley and Hines for that because you wasn't a good husband? To take the interest of your wife and all your $11,000? And you want to know what to tell your 3-year-old child? Well, I know what to tell that child when he reached 15. Hey, your father didn't do a good work. He wasn't a good husband. Because you cannot tell me that your wife, you have $11,000 because she's seeking a deal. And you sit down home, that you have to get other people to go with her to try and get back recoup her money? Where were you? We're talking about high. So you go up on a platform to talk politicize your unfortunate tragedy and your child's tragedy and to say Rowley and Hines must go? That is very rich in the politics now. That cannot put a man who's supposed to be in chairs and supposed to be home and hugging up his child on a platform to talk that stupidness. And he gonna better talk that too? I'm talking about guns. No shame. And this is where this gun thing is because look at what happened on Friday. The officer was having a drink, the corporal.
Yep.
On my pin. And everybody was walking with a gun apparently. No, nobody saying nobody is saying, but leave my gun home. Everybody walking with a gun to have a drink. No, look at what happened. If there were no guns, you think that would have ensued ended up like that? No. Today, one man in the morgue and a 21-year-old in Freeport police station. This is where this gun thing reached. And I had to listen to the leader of the opposition calling the commissioner of police lazy because she only gave out 100 guns in the last 13 months. Imagine that. Police trying to get guns off the street. Look at what they found in this place just recently. It's courier service. But Kamala Prasad Bisasa talking about Christopher lazy because she only gave out 100 guns. She should have given out 100,000 more. And this is where we reach. So one party trying to take guns off the street and the next one want to put guns on the street. For whose benefit? We have to open our eyes, Dominic, and see what they are trying to do. One of your callers mentioned it before. Who do they want to die? You have to look and see, Dominic. Dominic, enjoy the rest of your carnival.
You too, sir.
And be safe. And be very, very careful out there. It's not easy.
Brian, which band you was supporting?
Which band?
Yes.
I find Franklin play real good, but boy, after I heard Renegades, I say, oh my God. I say, Lord have mercy, look at trouble. But all the bands played very, very well. Yes. I thought they did well. I didn't like to be honest, Phase 2 it was kind of lackluster for me.
Yeah.
But the other bands, and that is because they always choose a tune that is not as popular as the other bands. But I thought Renegades was hot, boy. But Franklin did well, for a South band. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the guys. And I like what they are doing with the youths, especially in South. I know about it before, though. I knew about it before, but it's expanding. You know, and it's getting a lot larger, and I want to congratulate them, and I hope all the other bands will be doing something similar on a wide basis as well, to get more of the youth involved in something to keep them occupied and to learn a particular skill. Only one more thing before I go. I hope at some time they will get more than these $500 that is being given to them.
Right.
And at some time or another, they're given a little more money, because that to be up. Sometimes when you go down, you're listening to the bands and they up in the night, Dominic, 11, 12, 1, and the arranger is saying, go again. Let's go again. And they're playing it on this, you know, this slow beat before they get it right. Just to get it right. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of time and discipline. And that is good for the players.
Nice.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.
Mr. Chance.
Mr. Dominic, sir.
Yes, sir. Greetings.
Very, very, very good weekend. I want to thank you for taking from a man like yourself, you know, who involved in the carnival activity, decided to put away some time,
yes,
so that we can have an opportunity to chat. Thank you so much for that. Right. But this show today was very interesting. A lot of good information. And I'm wondering whether you could consider after Carnival for us to go to speak in more detail about the Commission of Inquiry and those other areas, right?
Yes.
I think it is very instructive and helpful to us. But let me say that I want to focus and unmask the vicious, unpatriotic, recalcitrant UNC for all the attempts they have made over the months and the weeks ahead to undermine the Carnival of 2024. I have started that. I'm doing it all on social media. I did it in your last program, and I want to continue it today. But before I do that, let me say I join with yourself, Jennifer Frederick, and Mr. Yates, and Brian in putting the binoculars and even the microscope on the DPP of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's all I will say for the time being. As citizens, we can do that because we know that his responsibility is to deal with criminal proceedings. And we are getting the impression that he's being lobbied from outside to move into the area of criminal proceedings. And then that's the impression we are getting, that he's being nudged. And the perception that we are having is not good for any decision he is going to make. So I hope that we are going to continue that discourse with respect to the steps being made by the DPP, particularly in reference to this Commission of Inquiry. And by the way, a Commission of Inquiry, the recommendations of a Commission of Inquiry are non-binding.
Correct.
A Commission of Inquiry is not a court of law. It is not. The Commission cannot prosecute or convict anyone. Totally different to a court of law. And that is why we have to pay attention to it. Right? It is just what it is, an inquiry. It is not a court of law. And that is why the ignorance and the ignorance and level of stupidity. I'm glad that you raised that matter with respect to those two clowns who have a program on 91.9 on afternoons. You know, I don't ever use those words, Bruce, but I have to, yes, because we can no longer ignore their comments. We have to speak about it, and I saw you and Jenny, and I want to join you all in that. Because I remember over our last couple of weeks that one of them had the temerity and the brass face to say he was going to do a critique on Dr. Williams.
Yes.
Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes.
Could you imagine that? People who can't start in school. Dr. Williams is at Oxford University. But anyway, one day I'll talk about that more. But I'm glad that you raised it, and we're not going to ignore them, and we will let them know that we are not going to ignore them. But let me say right away that the UNC have been making all the attempts, all those crime talks during Carnival was to highlight that, so the world will hear all those things, because that's international news. And they'll hear all the negative things about Trinidad and Tobago, who is shot here, who is shot there. And that will contribute to a negative view of the country at a time when we're encouraging people to come to Trinidad and Tobago at Carnival time. But the attempt failed. Let me tell you why. Now, last year, all people believe that Carnival of it is mass and calypso and jump and fete. But let me tell you what the CSO report was for Carnival last year. The money spent by tourists, how much money they injected into the economy of Trinidad and Tobago in 2023. It was $420 million. So while you see all of that going on, the economy of Trinidad and Tobago got a boost last year. And based upon the figures we are having for 2024, it is very certain that the boost will even be greater. Let me tell you why I say that, Dominic. That this year, the passenger arrivals is now in the number of 66,000, an increase of close to 7,000 from last year. In 2022, in 2023, the number of flights coming into Trinidad and Tobago during Carnival time was 784. This year, between January and February, the number of flights coming in is 1,350 flights coming. What are they coming for? 81% increase in cruise ship passenger arrivals. You hear that? 81%. Last year, we had a cruise ship arrivals of 48,243. And this year, we expect 88,000 passengers. What are they coming to this place for? The word is magical. Right? That is what Trinidad and Tobago is presenting to the world. And that is why we must debunk. That is why we must make sure that the people of Trinidad and Tobago understand how dangerous the UNC is to our country. That's a national festival. It is not only about enjoying your calypso and mass. I told you $420 million were injected by tourists who came here for Carnival during January and February in 2023. Yeah, let me close off by giving you some more data with respect to that. Right? You have an increase in incoming flights of 36%. 30% increase in seating capacity. You hear that? All of that motivated, all of that orchestrated by the Carnival celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago. And those nasty, vicious, recalcitrant, unpatriotic UNC have been making attempts to destabilize, to undermine, and to gutty up and nasty up the Carnival. Eh? Could you imagine that? And people have asking them to go to the polls and vote for them. And this is an event we celebrate as a people. We share to the world as a people the invention of the steel band. And as I say that, I'm making a clarion call using the word of one of the fellows there. I want to remind the Prime Minister and the government, which I support, that we have had enough talk about the proclamation of this steel band as the national instrument. I'm not going to stop it. I am going to continue to make that call all the time. What is keeping us back from proclaiming the steel band as the national instrument, going to Parliament and doing so? Minister of Tourism and Culture, whenever they ask, I'm looking forward. I heard the president of Trinidad say it's coming. By taking too long, we must get on there and proclaim the steel band as the national instrument.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the time, Dominic. I appreciate it. Enjoy your carnival. I'll be out there, although I'm a senior citizen. I want to enjoy my national festival as much as I can. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, so it's 1:51. Folks, I think I will take my leave at this point. So I'll allow you all the opportunity to maximize the rest of your weekend and your carnival. So whatever you're doing, stay safe. Those of you who are going out for Juve, remember to respect people's property. You know, there are a lot of people who complain after Carnival the amount of money they had to spend to paint the walls and so on because masqueraders have no regard for the people's property. Yeah, so, but I know the persons who listen here for the most part are responsible. Some of you, unfortunately, may be victims of that same foolishness, especially those of you who live in the areas of Woodbrook, St. Clair, and stuff where those bands pass around, and you might wake up tomorrow morning to find that your wall has been defaced. You know, so yeah, so we are appealing to people, yeah, come on, man, cool it down. The band leaders, you all need to do something about that, right? Keep your masqueraders in check. And for those of you who are going to the Queen's Park Savannah, I think tomorrow the traditional characters will be crossing the stage from 8 o'clock. Yeah, so judging starts at about 8 or thereabouts for the traditional characters. That used to be a Sunday morning event they used to have on Adam Smith Square, but because the patronage was so well, less than desirable. Not many people used to come out to see it. It was discontinued for a while, and it seems that they've now decided to make it a judging event. For the last couple of years, it was just they would parade and so on and get just an appearance fee. But I think from this year they will be judging. So come out in your numbers tomorrow morning and give that support to the traditional characters, because that aspect of Carnival seems to be waning, or I would even dare to say die. Right? So let's support that as well. And Tuesday, well, whatever it is that you're doing, exercise moderation. And if you see Anil wrong the Savannah, make sure you record him, right? The chances are he's not going to be sober. Yes, he's likely to make the same mistake that he made last year. So if you see him, feel free to record it and send it for us so we could post it up. Yeah, Anil, you don't know. You don't. It's me, Anil calling. That's my name, or shucks. Yeah. So enjoy it, folks, and well, I'm sure tonight we will have the same level of excitement as we did last night with the Panorama. Tonight we will see who is going to take the coveted crown of National Calypso Monarch. Very good lineup. Yeah, so place your bets. We will see. Remember, I won't be on Tuesday. Because Tuesday is not the day for me. So next we will chat on Thursday morning, God's willing, and we will see what will transpire between now and then. But again, to all of the visitors and so on who have come in and who are yet to come in, have a great one. Hopefully it will be safe, no incidents. So Gary can yap and talk about this only when he was commissioner, this, that, the other, next. And we will chat Tuesday. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, your Carnival, folks. Somebody says here, keep your Carnival contract and have some freedom in your DNA. Yes, that's the next thing too. We'll see who will win the road match. Will it be Bungie? Will it be Mikel Teja? We will see. I mean, I have my horse in the race, but anyway, I love Lorraine. This new version of Lorraine. I think that's just a beautiful song, but it's underrated in my view. Maybe after Carnival. So Shari says, yep, I remember the Marcel's down there, for example. Once upon a time when people used to go in the savannah and these huts and so on and take it in, but that's yesterday. So to all the folks on Facebook, YouTube, have a great one, folks, and we will chat. Angela said road match is DNA. All right, Angela, we will see. I love it too. You know, the Soca Mafia, as they call them. So, folks, it was nice. We'll chat on Thursday.